get hysterical. I could lead the Israelites to Jericho. Heard she got a boyfriend, I know she think I'm sexy though. I'm not an ordinary local rapper, I'm professional. Why you roll oregano? I'm in a place they never go. Threaten me to never show. More money, more problems, bitch. Who's to say we better, bro? You don't chase your dreams, you may never know. You may never know. Well, I'm a little reminder. Show up with my squad, black gloves, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I'm a
Ramily, Ramily. You know the vibes. Subscribe, like, Ramsaholic, share. I'll have to update my information below because it's not just Twitter. I'm now on TikTok with Rams content. But if you have me on YouTube, you can check out my YouTube shorts. I'm going to start banging out more of those just to keep you guys entertained. All right. It's wartime still. Rams are still in war mode. The ski mask 2-0 when I have it on, so I'm going to keep rocking it. I don't care if I'm indoors. This is war. So this week, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Cleveland Browns at SoFi, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's look at the spread here. So the Rams are 3.5-point favorites. I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. I like being the underdog, but I do understand why we're favorites here. The over-under is set at 39.5. I think that's very reasonable. And when I give my score prediction, you can see whether I'm taking the over or the under. Now, some big news here. There's an injury bug going on in Cleveland, and the Rams are completely good outside of one guy. Quentin Lake, hamstring injury, still not practicing. But per Sean McVay, yesterday he had his press conference for this game. Pretty much everyone's going to play. Rob Havenstein had rest. Laurel Murchison did not practice due to a knee injury, but I think he's going to play. So it looks like Quentin Lake, again, may miss the game with a hamstring injury, and I'm okay with that. I do like Quentin Lake, but I feel like we have some good depth now going on at the safety and DB position. Now, Cleveland, Amari Cooper, rest ribs, did not practice. Something to look out for. I do think he will play. Myles Garrett, the big name here, shoulder injury. He did leave the game Sunday with an arm sling. Not good. Stefanski said he's day-to-day. His day-to-days are very sketchy. Deshaun Watson was day-to-day, and that was for about 2 weeks. I know that at 7-4, the Cleveland Browns, 7-4 is a good record, but in the AFC, you could quickly fall out of contention if your top guys don't play. I'm not sure if he's going to play. Stefanski said he feels good. That could just be strategy so the Rams don't prepare for a no Myles Garrett defense. But even if he does play, he's clearly going to be 60, maybe 70% healthy. That's not good. He really didn't do much last week against Denver. As a whole, Cleveland really didn't do much. They got blown out, but we will see. But if Myles Garrett does not play, that's a huge loss. He has 13 sacks this year to lead the NFL. Probably the leader for Defensive Player of the Year right now. Big loss if he does not play. Marquise Goodwin, concussion, did not practice. Kareem Hunt, groin, did not practice. David Njoku, rest, knee, did not practice. Wyatt Teller, calf, did not practice. Dorian Thompson Robinson, their rookie quarterback, who's actually listed as their starter right now, is still in the concussion protocol, so he did not practice. Jawan Thornhill, Cav, did not practice. And Denzel Ward, one of the best corners in football, shoulder injury, did not practice. They have a few guys limited and full, so those guys probably will play. But the big thing here is their starting quarterback is probably out. Not sure that's a huge loss. I mean, regardless, Dorian Thompson Robinson was not a starter up until 2 weeks ago with the news that Deshaun Watson is out for the year. Myles Garrett, Kareem Hunt has a groin injury. That's a big player for them. David Njoku says rest knee. Tight ends kill us. So that's a guy that we should have to watch out for. And now it looks like Joe Flacco, Old Man Joe, will be the quarterback that the Rams will face this week. Is that a downgrade from DTR? Not sure. Probably same level. I would say both guys are better options than PJ Walker. PJ Walker is the guy I would rather face. Just makes life a little bit easier on our guys there in LA. So, with that being said, looking at some of these numbers, you hear the rattlings. Cleveland is the best defense. Well, that is true, but they are more of a better team against the pass. Big part, they have a good secondary, a good pass rush, so they're able to get sacks, generate pressure, leading to less yards per game. They're actually number one in yards per game allowed. Big part of that coming is their passing yards. They only allow 142 passing yards per game. That's going to happen when you face guys like Kenny Pickett. But still, nonetheless, that is where they are at. And rush yards per game, they're actually middle of the pack. They're outside the top 10. They allow 105 rush yards per game. Ding, ding, ding. Kyren Williams is back. Ding, ding, ding. Royce Freeman has been balling. This is going to be a defensive game where the run games have to perform. Points per game, Cleveland allows 19 points per game. The Rams allow 21. So we're keeping it close with this powerhouse defense. And I would argue that the Rams played a harder schedule as well. So looking at that, you can see if Myles Garrett doesn't play, if Denzel Ward doesn't play, you could throw out those pass yards, those sacks out the window. That's big guys they'll be losing. And we could really dominate them on both sides of passing and running and get a nice mix going, just like last week where we had one more rush yard than passing yards. It was a good game plan. I think the Rams really do well when they run the ball, dating back to when we had Todd Gurley. And then we kind of went into a slump of not really having dominant running backs. We had Cam Akers had his moments. Darrell Henderson had his moments. But with Kyren Williams, he is looking like that all-time Rams great running back. I know he's only 23. Plenty of time. Maybe I'm jumping the gun too soon. But when we get him mixed in the passing game, he is a screen monster. Where we used him a little differently last week with more screens to your left, to your right, not really in front passes going forward. It's not really his game to catch and turn. He's a smaller running back. I think it's nice to set up screens for him, get him outside with those cornerbacks, those DBs, and let him rip. Let those big guys like Avella get there to lead block and just have Kyren Williams just boom. He has a nose for the end zone. Guy is a touchdown monster. If you have him in fantasy, he's second right now in points per game of all running backs. Of course, total points, he is not second because he missed all those games. But the points per game basis, he's only behind Christian McCaffrey. And that is really who he reminds me of. He has that Christian McCaffrey nose for the end zone, great pass catching back, and he's a very good blocker because if not, he would not be on the field. So getting him heavily involved in this game. Don't abandon the run game. Let's run, run, run. Mix him and Royce Freeman. I really like what we did there last week with them two. Beginning of the season, it was 95 to 100% snap share towards Kyren Williams. But now, with Royce Freeman running so effectively, I think it's great to see a 1-2 punch. You have your speed, elusive guy, and you have your power back. That's it. That's what we need. And that is what can get us into the playoffs and make a push towards the Super Bowl. Because at the end of the day, if we make the playoffs, every team 0-0, and we have a shot. If the Rams can play smart football with the run game being the dominant factor, and Kyren Williams is now the vocal point of this offense. Our Super Bowl season, it was Cooper Kupp. Last year was Cooper Kupp until he got hurt. It's turning into Kyren Williams' offense now. With Cooper Kupp hurt, Puka Nacua not really being heavily utilized as much. Both guys are kind of banged up, clearly. They're always on the injury reports. Cooper Kupp has missed games. Puka's been close, but he's tough as nails. This is the Kyren Williams offense, and we have to ride that out. That has to be our identity. Opens up the play action great and allows Stafford time in the pocket, because then teams just can't keep bull rushing you. So with that being said, on defense for the Rams, you have to contain guys like David Njoku. You have to watch Amari Cooper if he ends up playing. Those two guys are elite at their positions. Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt at running back. If Kareem Hunt does play, he has a groin injury, but I think he's been on the injury report for the last few weeks. He doesn't play a ton of snaps. He's a 30-40% snap share guy, but he's their pass catching back, third down back. And you have to watch out for those two guys, especially if Joe Flacco plays his first game with this team. They're going to run. I think both teams, this is going to be smash mouth, old school football, run the ball, dominate on defense, see who comes out at the end with the win. Big reason why the over-under is so low. Vegas is probably thinking the same thing here. It is going to be Joe Flacco starting, in my opinion. He's taking all the first-team snaps. I don't think there's a big difference between him and a rookie DTR who they drafted in like the 5th, 6th round out of UCLA. He's not really a guy when you look at film that jumps out like, whoa, he's our guy. He's going to take the starting gig from Deshaun Watson. It's going to be Deshaun Watson just because of the contract, and he is better than all of their quarterbacks. Big reason why when I heard the news that he was out for the year, that's a big advantage for the Rams. I think if he's playing in this game, there's a possibility we are actually underdogs, maybe 1 point, point and a half. He may not be the best quarterback in the NFL, but he still is Deshaun Watson. We know what he can do, and he's better than the group that they're going to be bringing out this week. So if Joe Flacco is out there, I expect them to really run the ball. Joe Flacco actually does throw the deep ball very well, so you will have to watch out for Amari Cooper on those deep passes. They have Moore as well, who's a good wide receiver. Smaller guy, slot receiver, shifty. But I think Amari Cooper is the main guy here. But if we throw Kello Witherspoon on him, they're both big. I think he matches up very well with those bigger receivers, better than those shifty, fast receivers. So I think that's a great matchup there. Then you have Durant in the slot. Darion Kendrick's actually been playing some solid ball lately. Jordan Fuller, probably coming off his best game of the year last week. So many pass breakups he had on deep passes, which means he's really following through on his zone and reading those vertical routes. I know last year, even the year before, when Jalen Ramsey would get burnt, it was mainly on the safety, right? Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp was notorious for not following through on his zones, reading the underneath instead of the deep balls, and then you get burned. And then people say it was Ramsey. And then John Johnson III. He's taken the starting safety position from Russ Yeast, and he's looking good. He's hitting hard. His coverage has been very improved. He's covering tight ends, trying to help us in that situation. We still struggle versus tight ends. That is our weakness. But overall, John Johnson is what we wanted him to be coming back. At first, with Russ Yeast being listed as a starter, and then for the first half of the season being the guy, you kind of got concerned, right? Like what's happening to John Johnson, but he's getting adjusted. He's earning that spot back. That's one thing I love about this Rams team. You want a spot on this defense, you have to earn it. We have depth and we're super young. So if you want a spot, earn it. Defensive line, we've been rotating a lot. But in our dime packages, we've been using Russ Yeast mainly because Quentin Lake was out last week, and that's a possibility again this week. He was in the slot with Durant, and he looked solid. He had some good hits, some pass breakups, and he also played hybrid linebacker, him and Ernest Jones. Roseboom would come out, Russ Yeast would be in, and Russ Yeast is big enough. And we know the Rams love to take safeties and put them in the box like we did with Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp was a good tackler. Russ Yeast is a better tackler. So him at the linebacker, he's faster than Roseboom. I don't know if he's a better cover guy than Roseboom in the middle of the field because Roseboom's coverage skills actually impressed me this year, and he does have an interception. But it's better to have him out there covering than Michael Hoyt. Michael Hoyt has been doing like a little acting like he's going to cover, and then he just runs in for a blitz. So I think the defensive line should have a day. I think Flacco will be a little different than what we've been used to with these mobile quarterbacks the last 2 weeks, and Geno Smith and Kyler Murray. Joe Flacco's a stationary quarterback, not mobile. He'll stand in the pocket. So we could really close that pocket quickly on him when he does have to pass on those third downs and get some sacks. Because, third downs, we've been struggling throughout the game. Third and longs have been a kryptonite of ours. We'll definitely have to improve on that. I think with a stationary quarterback like Flacco, that does help you able to blitz 5. I think our defensive backs have been covering well enough to stay in front of their guy to allow time for the pressure to get through. And of course, Aaron Donald, I don't really need to talk about it. He's always going to be a big part of our success. We really need him to come through in this one and provide some pressures and really help other guys because he's going to draw on double teams. Kobe Turner, guy's a baller. 4 sacks this year, or 5, as a defensive tackle. He's going to be a great player for us now and in the future. Another solid guy we drafted later that's paying off. And then Byron Young, always going to be a good guy to get pressures. I guess this is the Aaron Donald effect. When you play with Aaron Donald, you're getting one-on-ones, and sometimes you're just not really getting blocked. And you could just shut off your guy and just boom. So overall, I'm feeling good in this one. I think we go to 6-6 tonight. Seattle plays Dallas. They're gonna lose. They'll be 6-6. We win Sunday. We're in the playoffs. I think it's huge that Seattle loses tonight. I think that'll just bring more motivation for these guys come Sunday. And I have the Rams winning this one, 21-13. So 3 touchdowns for us. It's so hard for me to predict field goals because that is our weak spot. We need a kicker, especially in the playoffs. We're going to need someone to make those field goals that we could count on. And I see the Browns getting 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. I think 21-13 is a solid score prediction. Let me know what you think in the comments. That will put me under the 39.5. Like I said, defensive game. I think 21-13 is reasonable. I see Kyren Williams getting 2 touchdowns and Stafford throwing 1. It's either Puka or Kupp. I would love to see Kupp get a touchdown just to get him back in the groove, but he's clearly injured. I think he's playing the decoy role right now. But anyways, Ramley, that's it for my game preview on the Rams versus Browns. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow me on X at Shay Tweeted At, on TikTok at Ramsaholic, and share this to all of your Ramley. Anyone you know that's a Rams fan, share it up. But I'm out. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones.